I'm guessing you don't know the names of that many artists, except for maybe the classical ones that we learned about in school. So let me share with you a couple of tools that I like for perusing different artists and getting inspired by their styles. So this first one I really like just because of the layout. It's great for just kind of scrolling through and checking out the different artists and maybe getting inspired by what their artwork looks like. So you can click on one that looks cool, get a little higher detailed view of the examples. Some of them are tagged, and these examples were generated by the model. So they're representative of the artist's artwork, but not actual artwork from the artist. They're generated. And the source for a lot of the data in this notebook is actually this other one that's more thoroughly maintained. It's more of a database. It's got this big table of artists, and they're more thoroughly tagged. And so we can use the tags to look for particular styles that we might be interested in. So maybe first we'll filter by strength. I think the strength is sort of a human assessment of how well the model does at creating art in this person's style. And then we can add another filter for tags, and maybe we'll do digital art. And yeah, so, and you can see some generated examples. You can click the Open tab, and they've got a few that are portraits. So Charlie Bowater is the artist that I used to create the first image or two in the slides that I used at the beginning of this video. And then they do landscapes. They prompt it to generate a landscape as well in that style. So that's pretty neat. It's a great resource. So back to our steampunk factory example. Here's just a handful of examples of what it looks like when you apply these different artists to our prompt. So Kim Kiever seems like they've got this very atmospheric, fuzzy, foggy kind of style, and I think you can see that reflected in these images. There's steam, a bit of fog to it. Justin Gerard does these fantasy creatures. So this is kind of more of the style that I had in mind when I started this. I was thinking sort of these like storybook illustrations almost, and I feel like that's a good representation of that. Totally different art style here. Liam Wong has high contrast, it looks like, and seems to favor this perspective. So you can see that kind of reflected in the generated images. Ansel Adams. Noah Bradley. I thought this one was pretty cool. He seems to play with highlights and light in a cool way. So he's got, it seems like a consistent theme is these sort of bright highlights somewhere in the image and some cool reflections and glowing. And I feel like you can really see that in these images, like the glowing reflection on the pipes here, the machinery. These are really beautiful. I kind of wish I had picked one of these maybe for the examples. One or two more. Yeah, you can also use the names of anime studios. So Studio Ghibli is the studio that made Princess Mononoke and Howl's Moving Castle. There's Charlie Bowater. A really popular artist to use in a lot of people's generations is Greg Rutkowski. So he is a Dungeons and Dragons illustrator, and Stable Diffusion just seems to respond well to putting his name in the prompt. So it seems like it gets thrown in there a lot. But these do seem like some pretty high quality examples. All right, then in addition to putting an artist's name in, we can also use modifying terms that specify some of these details that we've been seeing in the artist's work. So different types of lighting, different styles of artwork. So let's look at that aspect of the prompt next here.